Hey, good morning. So in this edition, an episode of Yins Are Fishing, we're going ice fishing. It's probably been the warmest January in a long time. So in order to go ice fishing, we're heading up to Wellsboro, up to Tioga County. And we're actually going to participate in a class on ice fishing held by the Fish Commission. So there's two parts to it. There was an online training course that I took, and then there is a hands-on session up at Hills Creek Lake in Tioga County. The demonstration will be kind of go through safety practices and then look at some of the equipment that you use. There's a lot of updates and upgrades, a lot of electronics now involved with fish finding and that kind of thing. So it'll be kind of cool to see. We may or may not get out on some fishable ice because it's been so warm that we might just end up on a shallow section of the lake to fish just because the ice is thin. I think it's probably right around 4 inches or so right now on this lake, and this lake is probably the coldest spot in Pennsylvania. So I have not seen ice on any of the other lakes so far on the way up. That's what we're up to. We'll put the camera back on when we get in the park. All right, well, you can see a frozen lake up ahead there, so that's probably Hills Creek Lake. We're only a mile or two away. Okay, here we are. And I think we're making a right. It says fishing event. It's pretty cool. Hey, there you go. Well, there's ice. There's also a lot of open water. So we'll see what we get away with here. I'm thinking, I think I see somebody out there actually. Hey, so here we are on Hills Creek Lake, and looks like people are legitimately ice fishing here. I was just up talking to the folks that are running the course up here, and looks like we're going to get out on at least the shallow stuff here. There are people from yesterday's class that came back and are actually ice fishing out there. There's about 4 inches of ice, and so it's safe enough for one person. They just don't want to get out there with a couple dozen people on the ice, far out. So we're going to be fishing here up shallow. You can see they already have an enclosure and some other equipment out here. Got a spud bar, and again, a pretty decent ice coverage. It's not perfect, but it's probably the best ice in Pennsylvania right now. And then we'll talk about what's going on up here with the training session up on top of the hill in the pavilion there in a moment. Yeah, so the Fish Commission is actually running the course, and they're setting up over there. So we're gonna get going in a little bit. Should be pretty cool. There's some of the equipment. That's a tip up. Got some gulp, I guess imitation. There's some jigging rods and some tip ups.
All right, and then we have some others that are basically similar to the ones that we have here that I'm wearing. So
looking to buy a rod. What we're looking for is something that's going to match the species we're targeting. And like I said, we're fishing mostly for panfish, so we're looking for something that's nice and super ultralight, so we can see all the bites. If we were fishing for bass or lake trout or muskies, we'd use something that's much heavier. Some of the muskie rods pretty much look like broomsticks with guides on them. They're going to use much bigger lures and much bigger baits. But for what we're doing, something ultralight like this is going to work really well. And generally we like something that's 24 to 28 inches. You can find rods that are longer, 32 to go. So as it forms, it cracks, it pops, it expands, and that's a lot of the noise you're hearing. We start getting real late in the season, like March, and it's 50 degrees out and it's melting from both sides. That's when it can get dangerous. It's generally a lot more silent than it would be when it's making. One hand on the side here, put a minimal amount of downward pressure. cut it into the ice, you can speed it up.
Okay, so we're jigging right here. You can see the flasher is showing us the depth and also the height. Doesn't show up as good on the camera. Yeah, that's what we're doing. And one of the kids did catch a little perch earlier. But hey, at least we're cutting holes, and we're on about 3 to 4 foot of water right here.
Oh, they are scavengers.
He had probably a 25-inch pickerel land on the ice, and he kept flying around thinking he was going to grab it.
Landed on the ice and tried to walk over.
Yeah. He decided it was too big for him, I think.
It's pretty cool catching, every once in a while somebody's catching something. We're gonna give this a shot again here.
It could be weeds too, Blaze.
All right, so we're jigging right off the bottom. I don't know if you can see that.
Get more, Luke.
Guys pulling them in over there.
This little area.
So we just had some fish for lunch. It was pretty good. But got pretty good turnout, and not a bad day. Okay, and we're putting things away here and getting off the ice. So that's going to be it for today. So we got to do some ice fishing. Some people caught some fish. We had to stay in shallow because of the thickness of the ice, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Got to try running the ice augers, the power auger, and the striker, the sonar. It was pretty cool. So that's what we got for today on this episode of Yinzer Fishing. See ya.